The immortal lines of Mark Antony, penned by Shakespeare, echo throughout the entirety of the English corpus. There is no doubt that before Dickens, before Twain, before Jane Austen and John Milton, Shakespeare is the greatest of all the English writers. Every work he penned was meticulously cared for. No rhyme, no beat, no phrase out of place. Compare this with the dialogue in the movies that we enjoy today. That which we regard as best is the dialogue that's either about inane trifles or where characters stumble over themselves.
What they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
Imagine if we could all speak like Shakespeare, though. If every word we spoke held the gravitas of one of the great tragic monologues, or that of a young lover chancing upon his beloved.
Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight. For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
If our education were appropriate, this is all it would consist of. Instead, kids graduate from high school without ever having read a Shakespeare play. College kids are lamenting to their professors that one single sonnet is too sophisticated for them to handle for homework. And the references our youth make reflect the rot of our culture rather than its heights.
Fairies found
What I think is most tragic about this is that the barrier to entry into Shakespeare is actually quite low. Shakespeare didn't write the 1,000-page epics of Tolstoy or Hugo. He just wrote plays. The longest of which, mind you, is Hamlet, which, if performed in its entirety, is about 5 to 6 hours long. That's a long play, but it's also just an afternoon, after which you'll have Hamlet with you for the rest of your life.
To be or not to be.
I once had a 10-year-old recall the entire plot of some new Despicable Me movie to me after a single viewing. Could that not also be the case with Shakespeare? The Elizabethan peasant could view Romeo and Juliet for a single penny at the Globe Theatre some 500 years ago. Could we not also do the same today? Could we not also take out some friends to go see the new adaptation of King Lear on some weekend and have a decent time doing so?
The vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be in test. What can you say to draw a third, more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, nothing will come of nothing.
Shakespeare wrote 39 plays. If you host a movie night every single day for a month and a half, you'll get through the entirety of the Shakespearean corpus, and probably have a decent time doing so. The same also applies to the Greek plays, 43 of which have survived, and the longest among them are shorter than the shortest of the Shakespeare plays. And even if a translation of the Greek isn't going to be as rich as the language of Shakespeare, the content of the stories themselves is arguably more rich and more influential than anything written in English.
But as for me, my father's city must never harbor me alive. So let me live among the hills. Yes, Kithaeron, called my mountain, which my mother and my father gave me while they lived, to be my tomb. And there I'll stay obedient to the death they planned.
Sure, there won't be as high-quality movies of Greek plays readily available, but there are plenty of high-quality audiobooks. Shoot, even AI will read it to you nowadays. Or you could do something old-fashioned and sit down and just read it with your friends. You could probably have some fun doing so, and if you did so, then maybe you could finally reach the heights of the education of the Elizabethan peasant.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
Which sort of brings me to my last point. Why doesn't our education consist of more Shakespeare? In 1 year, one class could get through the entirety of the Shakespearean corpus. It wouldn't be hard. For a given play, every kid could be assigned a part and get up in front of the class to act it out. You would learn the language and vocabulary, learn the stories themselves, and develop some public speaking abilities along the way. It's ripe for the taking and has been so for centuries. Yet we cower from Shakespeare like the plague, as if the Saturday night leisures of the Elizabethan peasant is too beyond our comprehensive capabilities.
Et tu, Brute!
But it could be done, and it is a shame on all of us that we don't take advantage of this opportunity.
There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time.